Good morning. I'm going to teach a new word today.
Let us get ready. I think I'm just gonna put my hair up today because
It's a little crazy.
okay, so this video is for all the people pleasers out there. I'm using Philosophy Hope in a Jar. This one has SPF, so I use this one in the mornings and then I use this one at night.
Okay, so the new word is glue. And obviously we know what gluing means, but this is a term that my friend taught me.
My friend Helen.
She was a good friend from my old job, and I think she made up this word, or maybe one of her friends made it up, I don't know. But I learned it from Helen, and what it means is, you know, when you're like overthinking something and maybe you said something that you're like, oh, I wonder how the other person took it, or maybe you texted somebody and they didn't respond right away, so you're like wondering if they're upset or whatever. That feeling, I'm sure you can relate to that feeling. That's called a glue. So you're gluing about something. And I feel like we glue about things all the time, especially girls. I think girls glue more than guys. I'm sorry if you're offended by that assumption, but if I had to guess, that would be a very educated guess for me. Okay, so the things that we're talking about in this video are going to be off of that definition of glue.
Biosense Rose Vegan Lip Balm. We're using 𝐊𝐄𝐘𝐼𝐻 in the shade 60. Woke Up Like This. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself if you're a gluer. If you're just a natural gluer, someone who overthinks everything that they say, like you know you didn't say anything bad or you know you didn't say anything weird, but you're wondering if the other person took it a certain way and you're wondering if you shouldn't have said something, you're wishing you could retract what you said or unsend on a text, and you're just gluing all day long, even though you didn't say anything weird. This video is for you. Like, I want you to trust yourself more. I feel like there are two different people that I want to talk to in this video. One is for the gluers, like the people who are just overthinking and, I don't know, just like not secure and not confident in what they're putting out into their relationships. And then the other people are the ones who have a really hard time validating themselves. Like maybe you're in a relationship, whether romantically or not, like maybe it's a friendship or a relationship with your mom or your dad or whatever. And maybe they reacted a certain way to something you said and you didn't appreciate that. Or maybe they made you feel like what you said was crazy or like weird or inappropriate or something. And it wasn't. Like what you said wasn't weird. What you said made sense and it was very valid. But for whatever reason, you believe their word over yours. I know there's a fine line between like taking ownership of something that you're saying that was a little bit weird. Like if you said something that warranted the other side to get upset by it, then take ownership for that. This isn't a free pass to just say whatever you want and then me telling you you're not crazy, validate yourself, whatever. But if you know that what you said was very fair or how you're feeling is really fair, like you have reasons why you feel the way that you feel or why you said what you said. Maybe even like why you took something the way that you did. If somebody made you feel defensive, somebody said something that made you feel like they were attacking you or like, I don't know, like maybe you feel really misunderstood. Like I have a really big thing about being understood properly. Like that's kind of like something that I struggle with. But if somebody said something to you that really made you feel icky for whatever reason, don't go back in your thoughts and be like, oh, I probably just took it a certain way. Oh, like I'm just being sensitive or like I just need to get over it or something. I'm sure that's partially true. Like we don't want to turn everything into a dramatic situation. And if you feel like there are things that you need to work on for yourself of like why you're getting triggered by something so frequently, or like maybe you are genuinely being a little oversensitive about something, then figure that out, you know, like do what you need to do to figure that out and decide if that's the case. But if it's just like a normal situation and you feel like you didn't say anything weird and you know that you're not crazy and another person's response is upsetting you, don't take that whole thing upon yourself. You are smart, you are rational, you're reasonable. I know I'm talking to the internet, so I don't know everybody, obviously, and I know that some of you may not be those things, but I'm talking to most of you out there that are probably very reasonable and probably feeling a certain way either towards a person in your relationship or again, any type of relationship that you have where you just have a really hard time validating yourself. Your instinct is to apologize and say, sorry, I shouldn't have taken it that way, or basically like, sorry, I know I'm the problem. You're not the problem. You're both the problem. Like you both have things that you need to work on in your communication, in your conversation. You can both meet each other halfway. Like you don't have to be the only one to die to yourself, to dismiss all of your feelings and to say, okay, yeah, I shouldn't have gotten so upset. Maybe I was being oversensitive or whatever. Again, that could be partially true, but it's not all on you. So that's what I'm talking to. Like people who really struggle with allowing themselves to be heard, even for themselves and even to themselves. I think you can kind of tell if you're this person too, if you feel the need to say, if that makes sense at the end of all of your sentences. You know it makes sense. You know that what you just said makes sense. But you feel this need to clarify and make sure that you're not speaking gibberish and that you're making sense. When you know what you just said makes sense. Of course it makes sense. If you do that a lot, I want to encourage you to do that one time less in your next conversation. If you know that what you said made sense, like if you are genuinely not sure if what you just said made sense, then fine, say that. But if you know that you just explained yourself and shared your heart with somebody and you feel the need to say, if that makes sense at the end of it, I just want to kind of challenge you to let the other person ask you if they need clarification on something. Because when you already dismiss yourself in that way or almost present your heart to somebody in a way that's like you don't have to believe what I'm saying, you don't have to trust what I'm saying almost because maybe I'm not even making sense, then you're kind of doing yourself a disservice there, you know? It's unnecessary. Like, you are not crazy. You can trust that what you're saying makes sense. Okay, this video is really disorganized and I kind of started talking about the second type of people before even talking about the first type of people. But to all the gluers out there, I also want to encourage you that when you share something and you're gluing about it, it helps to have an ungluing friend. I have people in my life that I text specifically when I need to unglue about something. I'll tell them what happened, I'll tell them what I said, I'll tell them how stupid I feel or how I shouldn't have said that, asking them, what do you think the other person is thinking? And they do a really good job of ungluing me and saying, oh my gosh, no, like don't even glue about that. They're not thinking that, or you didn't say anything weird. So I think having a friend like that is really crucial to helping yourself with your glues. But I also think being able to unglue yourself is a really important muscle to train because there are just so many things that we say to people all the time that we could glue about. And half the time those people aren't even thinking about you. If I'm putting it very bluntly and kind of in a tough love kind of way, like the world does not revolve around you in that kind of way. But then the other half of the time, hopefully this relationship is one where you can trust that they know your intention behind what you said. Like if you know that somebody's going through a hard time and you're trying to be kind and compassionate and you're worried that something that you say could come off insensitive or it's a question that you shouldn't have asked or something. But then deep down, the reason that you asked that question was because you care. Hopefully that other person can know your heart behind that and know why you're asking. And I don't know, like their first instinct is not to get upset by that. Or if they do get upset by it, like if they felt like your question was inappropriate or silly or something, like they can share that with you very honestly and you can have a good conversation about it. But I think gluing about things constantly really cripples our relationships because it makes us second guess everything that we say to each other and it makes us overthink. And again, half the time the other person wouldn't have even taken it that way. So again, this is not to say whatever you want, do whatever you want. It's on the other person. Like you have the freedom to be insensitive or be rude and then you don't have to glue about it. I'm talking to people, again, especially girls, I think, who are just in our heads a lot. Like we say something to somebody at work or a friend that's going through a hard time, or maybe we worked up the courage to be a little bit confrontational and we send something out into the universe. I feel like it's usually via text and then we don't get a response right away and we are gluing so hard. I just want to encourage you right now, if that's you, that your voice is important. Your thoughts and your feelings are all important. You're very reasonable. You're not crazy. And I want you to trust yourself. I'm speaking with the assumption that you're already being as wise as you can about what you say and how you interact with people. But if you're doing all those things and you're just trying to have a normal relationship with people, try not to glue so much and trust yourself more. You're not crazy. I'm curious what kinds of things you guys glue about or what has led you to overthink lately in a relationship. Probably something that you said to somebody and they didn't respond. I feel like that's like the classic example of what will send you down this spiral of like feeling so awkward and icky inside. Put them in the comments. Yeah, let's talk about it. It would be interesting. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. I want you to trust your gut, even in these like vague interpersonal relationship type things. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about and this has never happened to you, then good. Don't glue about things that you don't need to glue about. Okay, thanks for watching and subscribe if you want. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.